I'm getting near the finish line for my wooden replica of a German World War II MG-34. Most of it has been made from reclaimed poplar and leftover pieces of PVC pipe and electrical conduit. Why did I make it? Well, I like World War II, and I also like working with wood. I had a goofy notion to use it as a prop in a video, and also secretly hoped to be invited to participate with a war reenactment group. Those two things probably won't happen, which leaves option number 3, the MG-34 as wall art, or as a sort of display from a war museum. This frame was originally much larger and more square, about 3 feet by 4, but I cut it down to better complement the proportions of the MG-34. My miter saw allowed me to cut the 45-degree corners, and then I re-glued the pieces back together. Just like most of the material used to make the fake gun, this frame was also found curbside on garbage night. The silvery metallic finish is not the look I want, so I'll use 220 grit sandpaper to smooth over the corners, blend in any nicks or blemishes, but mainly the sanding is to help the new satin black paint to adhere to the old surface. Rubbing alcohol cleans away any dust, dirt, or grease, and then it's time for the new color. Check out this perfectly good piece of plywood that someone threw out. At least one side was good. Decent enough to be sanded, stained, and polyurethaned. 3 times, in fact. Yes, that's right. Multiple coats of a satin polyurethane that's allowed to dry, and then wet sanded before each subsequent coat. That way, I'll have a nice, smooth surface for what comes later. I started off with 400 grit wet sandpaper, and as I get closer to the final coat of polyurethane, I use progressively finer papers. I really love wet sanding. There's no airborne dust, the sandpaper itself lasts a really long time, and the end result is so buttery smooth. What's not to like? A black frame around a nice looking piece of stained and finished board would have looked pretty cool, but why stop there? In my mind, I was thinking of wooden packing crates. You know, the kind you might find around ships or loading docks or Indiana Jones movies. Something maybe with a spray-painted stencil across the sides. I like this eagle, especially the way that some of the black spray paint has gotten behind the stencil for sort of a fuzzy or less defined look. But I'm not finished. The Knight's Cross was an award given out by Germany, and I really like the colors used with the ribbon. I'll mimic the ribbon's pattern with 3 stripes on a diagonal towards one corner. Each one will be lightly sprayed so that wet sanding might reveal just a little of the stained wood beneath. With the surface still wet from sanding, I'll add a layer of black acrylic craft paint, most of which will be wiped off, but just enough should be left behind for the appearance of something worn and aged. It's time to join the two pieces together, and 8 short drywall screws should do the job. I made sure that the screw's length was just enough to hold the plywood without coming through the nice part of the frame's face. I still need 2 brackets that will support the gun as it hangs proudly on my wall, so it's back outside to the table saw. A little bit of stain soaking in, and then some wiping to remove the excess, followed by polyurethane, wet sanding, another coat of polyurethane, more wet sanding, and then the black acrylic craft paint for the decades-old, time-weathered appearance. I masked off the areas where I want to mount the brackets, which also allows me to pre-drill holes for more drywall screws. You can't tell, but I also lined up the brackets while they were in place and pre-drilled them as well, so that the screws would not split the poplar hardwood. No need to show it here, but I used a stud finder to locate the 2x4s behind the drywall, measured and drilled holes in the plywood, and then attached the entire display using a couple of 3-inch drywall screws. that's pretty much it for the MG-34. There could still be one more video if I decide to make the front and rear sights, plus a folding bipod, but for now, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this has been Bob's Workshop. Take care.